Alright, so this is the substance that we're going to pretend is the unknown. It's the hydrochloric acid. We're going to pretend that even though it's 0.5 molar, we're going to pretend we don't know what the concentration of this is. And so we have to pull out aliquots of this substance. This is also called the analyte or the titrate. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just rinsed it out with water, and I've just rinsed it out with the aliquot, with the substance itself as well. So it's been rinsed with HCl. This is to make sure it's completely clean, there's no contaminants in there. So I use the bulb to help suck up the liquid, and during the whole time I make sure that the pipette and the burette are always vertical. So I'm trying to make sure that I can get exactly on the line, so I'm pulling it up to eye height, and you just slowly release the bulb to make sure that the level just the meniscus, the bottom of the meniscus just touches the line. Alright, now to make sure no liquid drops down and I don't get more than what I want, I just get a tissue and wipe the sides of it. And as I release, I make sure that the whole thing's always vertical, and I make sure the glass of the conical flask touches at a 45-degree angle. And you count to 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, and you'll see there's a little tiny bit of liquid left in there, and that's meant to be left in there. So the glassware is calibrated to that. So there is exactly 25 mils plus or minus the error on the glassware, which is 0.03 mils plus or minus 0.03 mils, and that's given to you on the glassware. And I basically just do that 3 times to get my conical flasks ready. Be aware too, as you're putting the liquid, as the pipette's going in and out of the liquid, it pushes down on the meniscus, and as you pull it up, gravity the force lets it jump down. So the amount, to make sure it's above, the pipette is above the liquid as you're releasing out the solution to get the meniscus on, because if the pipette is inside the liquid, it's going to affect the meniscus. The meniscus isn't going to sit on it, it's going to get pushed up by the liquid. Alright, and so as I lift the pipette up and down, I can see the meniscus isn't moving. But if the pipette was in the solution, I was moving it up and down, the meniscus would move up and down just because of that. So I've added 3 drops of phenolphthalein to each of these conical flasks. Don't forget to do that, it's quite painful when I see students do that. That's to make sure the solution goes pink once it's been neutralized and starts to become basic. So I've got my standard solution that I've made up, and I lower the burette to below eye height before I fill it. And first of all, again, I rinse out the burette with water and with the standard solution that we're going to use. Here I am using a little bit of liquid to make sure the whole thing is being rinsed as I pour it out. And make sure before you start that you've gotten rid of any of these air bubbles that are just below the little valve here. And so that's removed as well. You could also get a tissue to wipe down the outside of the burette there, and here you can see I'm ready to start. And I can take a meniscus reading there, and I can write that down as 2.20. And don't forget to read it down to half the smallest increment, so that's plus 2.20, not 2.2. It's 2.20 because it goes down in increments of 1, so the uncertainty is half of 1, 0.1 mil, so it's 0.05. So it's 2.20 plus or minus 0.05. If you're just reading to the 2's and it just reads 2.20, 2.30, 2.40, it's pretty clear that you're not, and all your readings look like that, and you don't have 2.35 or whatever. It's pretty clear that you're not really looking to see whether it's closer to half the smallest increment. And so that's probably the first biggest error, and the second biggest error is not getting it to the final drop. And probably the third is making sure you're not trying to catch every particle by using your water bottle to rinse and wash things down and try and get splashes. So I write that down, and I'm ready to do my rough estimate. So the rough estimate is just a way to save time so that you can get a rough idea of where you are. So you can do it really quickly the next time, which is the real first trial, and then go down to really close, half a mil or a mil of where you know the answer should be, and then you can go down to the drop by drop. And so you can see here that the liquid is falling out really quickly, and as soon as it goes pink I'll stop it, and that'll give me a rough idea of what the answer is. And there you can see it's falling down quite quickly. It's going like 1 mil every 3 seconds, and here you can see it's coming out quite fast. Right, and now it's even faster. It's like 1 mil per second now. at that speed where it's just pouring out. What I got there was a reading of 23.9 mils. And so now I'm ready to do my first trial. I can pretty much go straight away, go down to like 22 or 23. And so that's what I've done here. And then once I get to 22, I'm going to really start going slowly because I need to see what it is down to the single drop. And what I'm doing here is I'm getting the water bottle and I'm rinsing the sides of the conical flask and the tip of the burette. That's to make sure I get every single particle. So if there's been any splashes on the sides or any attachment of the drop to the tip, I can wash that all together right down into the solution to make sure they're fully mixed. You can see I've got about 1 drop every 3 seconds right now. As soon as I think it's getting really close, I'm going to have to stop it and do it drop by drop, because you must get it to a single drop. Alright, now each time I'm adding a drop, the pink is really staying longer now. And you can see that I'm mixing it quite a lot and the pink just hangs around. So I must do it drop by drop now. Stop at each drop, give it a mix, and there you go. It goes from completely clear to completely pink. So I write that down. That was 49.75, and so the reading is 23.65. And so you can see here, as I've done it a second time, this time I would have gone down to maybe 23, and then I can just went really slowly, and it went from completely clear to that light pink. And if I add one more drop, you can see that the pinkness goes right over to that, almost to the rough area here. And so that area of where it was just lightly pink, that was also, you can see from this pitch here, was 23.65. So I'm taking that as my end point. If I add one more drop, it would have put me over. And so I'm thinking 23.65 is the answer. And I did get it twice. So I really should do it 3 times, but I'm going to stop there because you can get away with 2 if you know you're spot on. Ideally, it would be best to do it 3 times. These are the 2 titrations I did with the 3 molar acid. Now, because I knew what the concentration was from the first titration, my rough trial was fairly accurate straight away. I really went down to what the answer really should have been, and I got 4.30 both times. So I got 4.30, then 8.60. It's kind of cheating. It's not really a rough trial, and so I stopped there again without doing the third one, because this is for a video, and IB does let you get away with 2 if you're doing it properly. You're getting spot on because you're doing the correct techniques. Now, I'm aware that's quite a long video, so I'll just leave this for reference. This is the fixed up table, how it should look. And there are 2 titration calculations which are mirrors of each other. So this one's the 0.5 molar one. So I've done all the proper calculations with proper setting out and units and sig figs and uncertainties all over here. And this is the one for the 3 molar. So that's just for your reference if you want to know how to do your SEs or whatever. I wouldn't do this for an SE unless you've got a drop counter. Titrations take too long. Always use a data logger like a drop counter if you're going to do a titration, or whatever you're doing, use a data logger for it.